services, or do you think that the homeless problem they're not a problem. Do you think
there is a homeless problem.
Yeah, okay. Am I allowed to say that?
They aren't a problem.
Yes.
Which is not what you were saying.
Yeah.
Is there a
the
homeless...
The problem of homelessness.
It is, yes. The
it
problem...
It is increased, so there's more people that are homeless?
100%.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a crisis. We need to go to that far. There is a homeless crisis across our nation, and Knoxville is not immune to that. Homelessness is being bogged down. If you picture a funnel and picture a marble going into a funnel, it can go into the funnel, a wide entry and a narrow exit. It can go in there pretty easily. But what happens when you get 10 marbles and throw them in at once? They'll roll around. It's a bit slower. What happens when you get 50? What happens when all of a sudden you get 400, which is what we experienced? We experienced going from almost 200 people a night to over 400 people a night. And what happens is if you were to pour marbles in that funnel, they stop coming out because it's clogged. The exit's narrow and the entry's wide. It's the inevitability of processes, legislation, policies, brokenness. And so there was probably a lot of people managing paycheck to paycheck. And they were living within the confines of their four walls and managing their mental health, managing what community they had, managing the trauma, managing their physical health, managing their substance abuse. And then the pandemic hits and people get furloughed. They have health insurance, but they don't have steady income. We start getting checks 3-4 times, or once every 3 or 4 months for about 3 iterations of that, I believe. And then we're encouraged to not have community and start networking through social media, which is social networking, but it's neither social nor networking. It's a massive fallacy. And so people that were managing within 4 walls, all those things, those little safety nets they had, which were so thin, begin to break down. Rescuing is good in so much that you can complete the rescue. And so for 60 years, we've been known for how we rescue people, and one of the things we are wanting to be known for is how we finish the rescue. And if I were to go Disney style, I'm thinking of the damsel in distress. The house is burning, here comes the prince to save the day. He jumps into the burning house and he rescues her, and he doesn't open the door and drop her on the doorstep and say, hey, good luck. He completes the rescue, and that's a weird way of saying what we want to do is finish the rescue. What we do is look at it holistically. They are very sick. They're coming to us with deep physical and chronic health issues. They are coming to us with a great instability mentally, mental health issues. It is estimated that 90% of our guests would have a mental health diagnosis if they had access to care. But getting access alone is tough, and then there's so much stigma that comes with homelessness. They're terrified of getting that diagnosis and what people may think of them once they receive that diagnosis. And it's very, very hard to address anything when you're not feeling well, physically or mentally. So we need to see them as somebody worthy of getting healthy. They do have something all in common, and that's disaffiliation. They have no community. How do I know that? It seems like a really bold statement to make. I know that because KARM is not their first choice, their second choice, their third or their fourth. KARM, a rescue mission, is someone's last option. You don't go there and go, oh, I can't wait to get there. People are coming to KARM every day on their worst day. And if they had a couch to sleep on, if they had a friend or a family member who would welcome them, I promise you every one of them would take that. In so much that that person would receive them or they would want to be received. Because sometimes they burn bridges, sometimes their bridges have been burned. And so we need to see them as people who we invest community into. Meaningful employment has to be a piece of that. And a lot of people view homelessness as a prison through X amount of job skills. We'll only put you on a line at a restaurant to wash dishes or to do X, Y, and Z. But they have dreams. They have goals. And sometimes it's they had goals and dreams, and what you need to do is unlock those. What do you want to do? I want to work construction. That's great. Is that what you want to do? Or is that just your answer right now? What would you love to do? I'd love to be an architect. Ooh, why aren't you? And all of a sudden they get that, you believe in me? You think that's possible? And next thing you know, they're being invested in, and apathy turns to hope. Everyone deserves housing. But what happens when they're not ready? What happens is they lose housing quickly. What happens is they also drive a community of people in that housing out, because what used to be a peaceful environment is now not a peaceful environment, because they brought a lot of issues with them there. And that's what we're seeing in Knoxville, is that units that used to be full became 4 and 5 vacancies, and they would never had it. We had organizations coming to us asking, hey, can we circumvent this process? And we would say, we don't want to. We want to, but we're not going to. It's not the right thing to do. Housing, there is a housing crisis. There is a missing middle in homelessness. So inside of this vulnerability index, you take a test. And when you take this test, you get a score. And if your score is high enough, you receive housing intervention. Which means if you are vulnerable enough, you'll receive housing intervention. But if you're homeless and you're not vulnerable enough, you will not receive intervention. So the only way to become eligible is to become vulnerable. So the single greatest thing I could challenge the community, both secular and non-secular, is welcome people, because these are not KARM's people. These are your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your friends who we're serving. These are our neighbors. And you never know what's going to happen in your life. And I hope to God you never need KARM. But praise God, KARM is there if you do. And what I would hate is that we have an opportunity to expand those services on our dime, and we're not welcome to do it. That is one of the greatest ways you can help when you say, I don't have time to volunteer. I don't have the funds to donate. Are you willing to stand up and speak up for hurting people? That would be tremendous.